Welcome back, my name is Jet. Today we are at Suavecito headquarters in Santa Ana, and I'll be doing a high taper fade on my model today. Hope you guys learned something, pick it up, enjoy the clip. All right, so to start this haircut, we're gonna be setting up our base first with a metal 2 clip. All I'm gonna do is take it all the way around, take it as high up to the parietal ridge, not too high up on it, just right below it, so we can keep some weight on the sides, keep a nice look on him. That way he can do some texture work up top when he wants to style it and look nice and fresh for him. Now once you set the base, we're gonna move on to our next step and set up how high we're gonna want this taper fade to start. So I'll be taking a metal 1A, I'll be taking it like right above his ear, dropping it down towards the back. That way we can keep this weighted when we start doing our clipper over comb work. And from there on, we'll start to fade that line out, and then we'll get into the taper part of the fade. So as you can see, I took it straight across from the corner tempo area right here, all the way down, right below his occipital bone. Now that you've done the metal 1A, we're gonna move on to the next step, and that's working on getting this line out. So what you're gonna do next is clip on your 1.5 metal and start working right underneath the base point right here, the 2, and fade out in between the middle. Then we're gonna go back, attach the 1A, and fade this line out, and then get to the taper portion of this haircut. So now that we finished those steps with the 1.5 metal, we're gonna move on to the next step, which is the 1A. Remember, we set the base with the 1A down here on our first guide. So now we're gonna work at it and get that line out. You can't see it too much right now because of the way I set it up. I didn't set a dominant line. When I went up, I brought the clipper out. That way it leaves a lighter line to take out. It's not gonna be so hard. Now that we faded it out with the 1A, we got all that work done. The only thing left is to clipper over comb this area and work on a high taper. Before we clipper over comb, we're gonna work on a high taper. We're gonna leave that for the end. So right here, since we're doing a high taper, we're just gonna take out this whole edge right here from temple peak point all the way to the bottom of the ear. Now that you set that up, your next step is to grab your metal 1 and work this area right here. Fade all that out, make sure it's blended. Remember, you have a 1.5 in this area with the 1A. So be a little careful right here. You might even need to do a little extra steps. You're not gonna have to do that much, so just work with your clipper. Don't use the full blade. If you do that, you're just gonna end up setting more guidelines, and it's doing more work for you. You don't need that. All right, so now that you've done all that, you're gonna grab your blending clipper. You're gonna have it all the way open or to the half, and we're gonna fade out this bald line. So we're gonna start from open, work our way all the way down to close. Again, only using half of the blade. We don't need the full blade. So now that we've finished with the blending clipper, what we're gonna do next is bald him out right here with the shaver in the bottom half of that taper. So now that we've done that, this taper's all set up, we're gonna move on to the clipper over comb portion of the haircut. We're gonna be working at getting this line out right here. It's more weight than line though, but we're gonna be working at getting that out, keeping as much weight as possible up here. So instead of going straight up and clipper over comb with the comb straight, we're gonna angle it at a little bit at a 45, so that way we can manage to keep some weight up here and still blend the haircut in. So now we've done the clipper over comb, there might still be little areas that are either weighted or too dark. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna grab your texturizing shears. These are those Suavecito ones. Check them out. And we're gonna go shear over comb on certain areas where it's a little too dark or a little too dominant. And we're just gonna go in there and just follow it up, and that's it. So right here at the bottom end of that comb, that's where you want to keep the blade at. So now working on the back here, what we're gonna do first is line him up right here over the ears, down to the neck. That way we know how the taper's gonna look, where we're at, everything's already nice and lined up, set for you to go, framed, and just fade into it. So now that you've set that up, you're gonna set your bald line up. So the back taper, we're not gonna take it so high. So we're gonna keep it pretty low. We're not gonna take it too far up, just enough to give him a nice blend and have it complement his head shape and his neck. So now we're gonna grab our clipper again, with the metal one on top. Remember, we did a 1A at the lowest, so we're gonna take the metal one, we're gonna come up, blend that in so we can get to the blending portion of it and fade this line out. So now that we've done that, we're gonna move on to the blending portion. We're gonna start, again, at the clipper open or at a half. We're gonna work our way down to the bald line slowly and take that out. And once we're done that, we're gonna use our shaver and clean all this up right here at the bottom. So now that you've taken the line out, you're gonna grab your shaver and you're gonna clean up that bottom neck area right there. Don't take it too high up. You don't wanna create another bald line. You already got rid of that. So be careful when doing this. So now that we've taken care of all the blend work with the clipper, we're gonna move on to the shear work. So again, right here, we're gonna hit it with a shear over comb. We're using our texturizing shears and just get rid of some of this bulk and weight we have right here. So what we're gonna do here is just one fluid motion all the way up to get rid of this area right here. So now we've taken care of all the dry work, we're gonna move on to the wet work, shear work. So we're gonna just wet his hair up top. Not too much, but you know, always wetter the better. Cool. Once you've got that all done up, you're gonna set up your first guide. We're gonna be using a moving guide, traveling guideline. It's gonna be about 3 finger length. If you don't know what that means, literally 3 finger length. Pick that up, cut right there. Before you drop it, pick up the next section. That way you don't lose your guide. Again, now the other side. Now we're gonna travel with that guideline, move it back, look for it, and there it is. So now that you've done all the shear work and it's all nice and even and cut, we're gonna add a little bit of texture with the texturizing shears. More in the center. He likes to keep it pretty flat on the center, have some nice weight on the sides, and right here, a lot of texture since he likes the dry look. So with the comb, all we're gonna be doing is picking up a little bit, hit it, just like that, not too much. Again, we're gonna do a little more texturizing in the middle or the apex point of the head than we would on the sides. You get to the sides, again with the comb, lift up, once, that's it. The blow dry on this is gonna be simple. We're just gonna flat wrap all the way around this area. We don't need to lift anything. We don't need to go crazy with it. Just flat wrap it, make sure it's nice and dry. And in the front, we're gonna blow dry it up. So that way he has a nice lift right here and he can keep all that texture work that he wants right there. So now that the hair is styled, you can tell it's out of the way. It makes it easier for us to line him up, and we're not cutting into the hairstyle. We're not gonna mess that up at the hairline. So we're gonna work from the center out, and then the other center outward. So right here, I'm just gonna pick up the hair a little bit with the comb, set the base line right here, and again, just work to the edges. Now that you've done everything you need to do, it's time to style his hair. As you can tell, it's already doing what it needs to do. You blow dried it good, you did what you needed. It's keeping its shape. So all we're gonna use is a Suavecito Light Hold, just to give it a nice little hold. It'll make the texture pop a little more. He doesn't need too much hold, as you can tell. This is just to maintain what he has. So just a little fingertips worth is all you're gonna need. You don't need too much. just that little bit right there. And rub it in your hands nice and tight. Okay. And then there you go. Lightly rake through it. Don't flatten it out and gunk it in one area. Just nice little rakes. Get it back in your fingers. And that's it, man. That's the haircut, the style. Use the Light Hold Pomade on there. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Jet. We're here at Santa Ana and Suavecito headquarters. I hope you liked the clip.